I've watched a few Indian films up to this point, and I'm starting to get a feel for what is important to Indian audiences, and it's actually really interesting to go through it. I was really looking forward to these because people were hyping this one up in the comment section, and I saw the trailers for Vikram in particular, and was like, okay, this might actually be a lot of fun. So let's talk about Kati and Vikram. As I said, I have watched a few Indian films. They're right here. There's plenty that I've watched so far and reviewed on this channel, which is, it's fun for me to do. It's fun for me to learn about India's culture and learn about all of these different film industries in India. I think that's really interesting to me. But yeah, the way that I do this is I basically look at all the comment section. And I keep track of what movies people request, and of course, if one is requested more than another, then it bumps it up on the list. Right now, I think I have like 300 and something movies on the list, so there's probably not a chance that I'm going to be able to get to them all. But yeah, I mean, if you want me to watch a specific movie, let me know, and I'll try to check it out. Now, as far as availability goes, both of these said that there weren't any streaming options available. With Kati in particular, what I did was I searched around the different places to rent movies, and Amazon Prime actually had it for $2.99 to rent, and so that's where I watched that one. With Vikram, it said that it was only available on a streaming service called Aha, which I believe, if I understood the rules correctly, you had to sign up for their premium service to be able to watch premium movies, which meant I'd have to pay like $70 or $80 a year, $60 a year, whatever the price is, in order to watch Vikram. Well, turns out it's actually available on Hulu. Even though Just Watch does not have it listed, it's available to watch it on Hulu for free. So that's where I watched Vikram. And but yeah, let's talk about Kati first. Dilly, an ex-convict, endeavors to mate his daughter for the first time after leaving prison. However, his attempts are interrupted due to a drug raid planned by Inspector Bijoy. The movie stars Karti, Narain, Arjun Das, and George Marion. I have to be honest with you. This movie was not my favorite of the movies that I've watched so far. The main reason that I had such an issue with it is the pacing. This movie felt really, really long. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just because part of it was that they were jumping all around and they were showing all of these different points of view and these different people that didn't have any setup, and then it's like, okay, wait, are these people important? And more than anything, there's a whole plot that just doesn't feel complete. Like it almost felt like the story was being written and being found as they were shooting it, because there's a lot of things that don't seem to go anywhere. Now, maybe this is just because of my own attention span, but it wasn't really clear that the drugs from the drug bust were actually at this police station. And it was really kind of confusing as to why they were going after these people inside. And I'm talking about the bad guys trying to infiltrate this police station, because I didn't feel like the drugs were there. And then, oh wait, no, the drugs are there. And I'm like, wait a minute. If that's true, then why weren't these conversations at the beginning taking place at the police station? I was very, very confused. And again, this is probably my fault, but I just felt like a lot of it just wasn't clear. Now, I will say all of the actors involved they're very charismatic, and I liked the actors. My issue was just that I guess mainly it's just the fact that it was jumping around so much, and there were characters that I was like, okay, why is this guy on the phone? What's this guy on the phone in front of a computer doing? I don't really understand why this is important. And maybe it's because they were jumping around so much that they didn't take time to set up those characters, at least from my perspective. Again, this might just be a problem with my own attention span or something, but it just felt like it was way all over the place, and then in turn made the movie feel a lot longer than it actually was. Now, I saw some similarities to John Wick, and that I understand because it's sort of a similar sort of story. A guy, who's, this kind of awesome, fighter and all this kind of stuff. He, has something taken away from him, or kept from him, in this case his daughter, and he's trying to get back to her, and he takes on this mission to get back to her and all that kind of thing. But my biggest issue is that by the end, when he really starts to go, kind of insane and get like super violent and stuff, there wasn't any setup for that. So he just seems like this intense guy, but we don't know anything about him. And because there's all these changing points of view, it's hard for us to really, at least for me as an audience member sitting there watching it, it was hard for me to get really super involved in the main characters. And of course, the big draw to this movie is him getting a minigun, very T2 in a way, and he's taking out all the bad guys and stuff like that. And it's weird how it's the way that it's filmed is almost like a PG-13 movie. Like you don't see a lot of the violence happen, so it's kind of an interesting way that they filmed that. By the end, I've kind of felt like, okay, this is just the end, and it wasn't like super exciting to me, just because of that. It was just like I hadn't really gotten time to really get involved and get interested in, and invested in these characters enough to where I was ready for that big release. I then moved on to Vikram, a high-octane action film where a special investigator is assigned a case of serial killings. He finds the case is not what it seems to be, and leading down this path is only going to end in a war between everyone involved. The movie stars Kamal Hassan, Vijay Satupati, Vahad Vasil, and Narain. Now, Lokesh Kanagaraj is the sort of creator, writer, director of these two movies, and there's immediately a familiarity to it, but I will say that immediately I was drawn into Vikram a lot more than was with the previous movie. I don't know if it's just the charisma, the power of the actor Kamal Hassan, but I was sitting there watching this and I was really drawn in. And especially his relationship with his young infant grandson, I found it quite beautiful and really just, I don't know, it was just captivating. And it's strange that Vikram is like, what, 30, almost 40 minutes longer than Kati, but I actually felt that Vikram felt like a shorter movie just because I was more invested. Now, one of the things that is made abundantly clear at the beginning of this movie and throughout, it is so much more violent and so much more action than Kati had. This one had just like action scene after action scene, and then you get a little lull, and then you get another action scene. It felt like it was just more, it was well paced, and it felt like the action was driving the plot forward. There was a little bit of confusion because there are so many characters. That's one of the things that is interesting about Indian films versus American films. American films are more, I feel like they're more concise with their characters, and with these films, there's so many different characters to keep track of, and then so many new locations, and you're like, okay, where are we now? And it's kind of, I don't know, I guess for an American audience member, somebody who's I guess more simple when it comes to movies, this is a little like, okay, like give me a minute, let me figure out where I am now. Okay, let's move forward. This one felt like it held my hand a little more, I guess. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I really enjoyed the movie more. I'll also say that I feel like the I guess the side characters of Vikram are, man, just some really charismatic actors that I really like. I really enjoyed Fahad Fasil. I think he did a fantastic job as this inspector that's trying to doing all this undercover work, and following him for a lot of the movie was really interesting, and sort of, uncovering what this character of Vikram is, and what he's up to and all that stuff. I really enjoyed that. And of course, as probably one of the main bad guys, I guess the main bad guy, Vijay Satupati, I mean, he was like, he had so much charisma that it was like, wow, he's just cool. And he had this thing where, I guess it's some sort of drug. It kind of reminded me of Bane in Batman in a way, where he's biting this thing and it makes him all like insane and crazy. And it was a lot of fun to watch. Seriously, one of the most violent movies I've seen in a very, very long time. It's weird how there were times where I was like, they're not gonna. Oh, they showed it. Okay, they just showed you the thing. Okay, that's really wow. That was a lot. So I mean, it's really fun, and it's a fun movie to watch because it's just in a lot like John Wick. It sometimes the violence is like, whoa, okay, that jolted me awake. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And there's something about and I don't know if this is Lokesh, his thing, but or if it's just an India thing. But man, they just really love the big guns, right? And just showing off this huge weaponry at the end. I mean, Vikram's like shooting these guys with this, what is it, a Browning? I'm not even sure what it is, but it's just it honestly was making me kind of laugh because it was kind of like it was just insane. Now, of course, they're setting up an entire universe of movies and like multiple episodes almost of this story. There's going to be sequels to both of these movies, and then there's supposed to be one about Rolex. So there's going to be a lot more to come in this sort of universe. And honestly, after Vikram, I was kind of like, all right, I think I'm into this. Overall, I think that I definitely enjoyed Vikram more than Kati. I mean, it actually felt shorter, which is strange, even though it was like 30 minutes longer. But I think for me, the main thing is that both of these movies have story threads that I don't feel like they really add up to the big picture, and I feel like the running time could be brought down a little. I mean, I know there's this feeling of being epic and all that stuff, but I don't think a movie has to be long to feel epic. I mean, that's just my opinion. And I feel like if you were able to focus that story in a little bit more, I feel like it would have a greater impact. That's just my opinion. I'm just a dude, who's watching these movies and kind of giving my opinion on them. But take that as you will. But I'm really curious for those of you out there that have seen these two movies. What do you think about it? What do you think about my take on it? You think I'm completely off base, which is possible, but I'm curious what you think about them, and let me know down below if you're looking forward to the next ones. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.